Thank you for continuing on with us on Niaga AWANI. My name is Ibrahim Sani, taking over from my colleagues Haris Ashraf Hasnan as well as Nabida Khalida. Very recently, we saw the ringgit slid to an all-time low at 4.6 and above. And of course, this is a continuation of the story of how the ringgit is losing value, not just against the US dollar, but many other currencies along with it. Joining us online right now, live, is Dr. Shankaran Nambiar, the head of research at MIER, of the Malaysian Institute of Economic Research. Dr. Nambiar, at the ringgit's current exchange rate of above 4.6 against the strengthening US dollar due to the US rate hike anticipation of fight inflation, the depreciating ringgit is a concern because most of Malaysians are trading in that denominated currency. What can we expect heading up to 2023? Do you think that the fourth quarter for this year is going to be a really shaky period between the US ringgit slid?
Thanks a lot for having me on this show. I think, yes, we're not the only country that is in this predicament. I think most of the world is affected by the Fed's aggressive rate hike. There are other countries that for various reasons are doing much worse. Prominent examples are the yen, yuan, the Indian rupee, and the US pound for various reasons. Relatively, I think we're not doing too bad, but that doesn't mean that we are out of the woods, that we are safe, that we are immune. And I would think that going forward, that there is some risk of the ringgit slipping a little bit more. I'm not terribly worried about what the year-end outcome would be, although I don't want to get into the business of forecasting what it would be, but I would think I would be a little bit more wary of how it would turn in the first half of 2023, specifically because I see the semicon cycle probably softening early next year, and that could have repercussions. Having said that, I don't think it's all gloom and doom. It's just a question of preparedness.
Dr. Nambiar, the World Bank said on Tuesday that there is no quick and easy fix for the ringgit's weakness against a strengthening US dollar, as the bulk of Malaysian traders are invoiced in US dollar. Hence, the only thing that Malaysians can do right now is to focus on fundamentals, as you mentioned earlier, and this includes structural reforms that the nation would need. Do you think that our strong fundamental support can actually continue to support the value of the ringgit?
I think we have a pretty good domestic story. I think we have pretty good fundamentals. I don't see too much of a problem with reserves. I think we have fairly strong reserves. We do have relatively high external debt, but that, again, I think is not so much of a problem because it's ringgit denominated. And up to this point, we have a pretty strong export position. I expect it would continue. So given this set of circumstances, I think we are in a relatively safe position, not that we don't have to be prepared for contingencies. And yes, I think there's no quick fix, and a lot would depend on structural reforms, which I think the government is keeping an eye on, and I expect that there would be announcements to that effect in Budget 23. However, some of the reforms, structural reforms, might take a bit longer. For instance, we do need education, as the World Bank people did emphasize, better education training, of course, technological upgrading, increase in productivity. That's a given, and I think the government is committed to those measures.
Dr. Nambiar,
What we would also need
Dr. Nambiar,
some
a weaker ringgit versus a strengthening US dollar raises the specter of inflation, considering that a portion of Malaysia's imports is again denominated in US dollar. What is our scenario for our inflation moving to the fourth quarter after we recorded a 4.7 in August and 7.2 of food inflation? What about other types of inflation?
I think two of the imported inflation is going to be a problem. Food inflation, yes, I think we need to come up with measures on food security, on reducing our food imports to the extent possible. So yes, there is going to be some inflation that is going to creep in. It's probably going to affect companies a bit in terms of acquiring capital, intermediate products, etc.